Three Grots in a Vox is intended for a mature audience. This means there will be crude language and discussions of adult themes, especially if we're talking about Tactical Marines or Gabriel Seth. Viewer discretion is not only advised but encouraged. All opinions are our own and often given for humorous purposes. Any advice is given largely for entertainment purposes and would probably be ignored. But if you do learn something useful, count it as a win.
So we filmed this. Actually, no, that's a lie. I wrote this like 6 weeks ago to record it, and due to somebody who shall remain Johnless, the recording didn't quite take and work. So we thought we'd sit on it for a while and forget all about how it all went and what was in this little sort of thing we're going to talk about for Star Wars Shatterpoint, and then re-record it later after we'd had a drink and some sleep, and had therefore forgotten everything that we talked about in this video. So here we are again, trying Star Wars Shatterpoint again, which is great and really fucking dangerous for me because I am going to London to a convention called Dragon Meet in 3 days' time, and they're probably going to be selling this, and it'll be hard to resist because I'll be all like G'd up on Shatterpoint. But hopefully they'll have some good deals there, and I can buy a decent discount and then come home with.
See, I don't really remember much because, let's be honest, I don't really listen to anything anybody says. But I remember that I quite liked this. I do quite fancy it, and that's as far as I can remember with it.
Okay, I was going to say, have you got to a point yet where you watch your own YouTube videos, Tony, to remind yourself what you talked about?
Absolutely.
Good. Then that's just not me as well. Okay, what I want to ask though before we get started, Marcus, how many teams of Shatterpoint do you actually have?
Do I have?
Yeah, do you have so you've got the starter set, do you?
A big fat 0.
All right.
I've not bought anything yet because when we recorded this first time, you may not remember I was talking about how I was waiting for Black Friday to come along, and then they might do deals on Shatterpoint like they did on Legion last year. But no fucking deals on Shatterpoint whatsoever. It wasn't worth buying on any significant discount whatsoever. So I'm hoping that some trader down at Dragon Meat will have some stock that they've got a decent deal, and I'll buy it. So no, I've yet to actually buy any of this stuff.
Okay, so you just played it last time, is what you were telling us.
Yes, I had asked a local friend of my local gaming group who bought it and a load of the expansions for it, a load of the teams, a load of the terrain, painted it all up to bring it all along and give me a demo game for it, and it was great fun. And that's what prompted this, essentially.
Ah, right, okay.
Because at that point, 5-6 weeks ago, I knew what I was talking about, and it was fresh in my mind. No, it's not anymore.
Perfect. All right, so
you're the expert in Star Wars Shatterpoint.
Yeah, that's true.
You know all about it, and we would never ever make a video about something that we weren't all three absolutely au fait with.
We absolutely wouldn't half-ass things in any way, shape, or form whatsoever.
We've never half-assed anything.
Yeah, and on that note, here is what I will be drinking this evening. It's a little something, a little sort of a British honey spirit drink made with whiskey that I bought at Blenheim Palace when I went there with my wife to do the Christmas lights thing that they did a couple of weeks ago. Which is very, very pretty. And I'll give that a try this evening.
Very nice.
Yeah. If I can.
I've only got 7 up this time, so
yeah.
No,
this might blow your mind. I've actually run out of beer.
Oh wow!
Normally, somebody
things been that bad
for filming, but
you've
nobody's
either
bought me any beer lately. I haven't got any money, so.
Oh, okay. So it's not a case
I'm on 7 up, but you can do the taste test.
Things haven't been quite so bad that you've been having to drink literally all your beer in desperation.
No, I just haven't got any.
I was going to say, have all the beer shops near you run out, because that could be the only fathomable way that you don't have a beer.
This is actually true. I've run out because, like I say, often someone sends me a beer or something, but I've run out and I literally haven't had time to drive to a beer shop and buy some beer.
So what we need to do is get a P.O. box set up.
Yeah,
the people that watch the channel can send you beer.
Oh, hang on. Mark, that's a face.
That's quite nice. I like that.
You look like you sort of spaced out when you drank it.
I'm tasting it. I'm trying to... I actually went on a whiskey tasting thing with a friend of mine last year, and they got introduced to these 6 different whiskies and how to tell the difference between them. And I've got a vague idea of what I'm doing now, which is great. Although by the end of that session, we were all talking more than we were at the start because we'd all had a bunch of whiskey, which is really cool. But yeah, it's really nice.
you can give us any more tasting notes? Can you taste the honey?
Yeah, I can. It's not the normal sort of tang of raw alcohol that you get with some of the cheap off the shelf whiskies. This has actually got something extra to it.
I was going to say, when you guys eventually end up in Scotland, we're going to have to do. I've got Heather honey whiskey, I believe, downstairs. Which is,
but the only problem with it is, John, is that my knowledge of whiskey is, yep, that's definitely whiskey, and that's as knowledgeable as I am, you know.
I've got to the point where I can identify the fact that I don't like peaty whiskies. The smoky flavour of it obscures completely the flavour of the whiskey itself.
Isn't peat mud?
Yes.
Yes, essentially.
Why is there mud in your whiskey?
It's not. It's they use dried peat to make the flames that malt the barley. So basically, you get like a smoky peaty flavour into it.
It filters through, somehow.
Sometimes it can be quite overpowering, honestly.
Have you ever seen the whiskey that comes in like a transparentish blue bottle called Hague? Because that's smoky as fuck. That stuff is.
Is it? Is Hague? I know that's a lower end whiskey because it was being advertised by David Beckham, and I was like, because I like football, I was like, should I get this whiskey? And someone was like, don't buy that one. I was like, okay.
There's a good Scotch whiskey called Talisker that tends to be on the slightly smoky side, on the peaty side. Although the favourite that I've found so far is called Glenfiddich, which I'll quite go with. But
Glenfiddich, there's one called Talisker called Dark Storm or Dark Sky or something, and it's like Talisker if you put it through like another whole level of fire. And I was like, oh my god. This whiskey actually made me feel like I was smoking a cigarette. It was so smoky. I was like, yeah, no thanks.
See, that doesn't appeal to me.
It didn't appeal to me either, to be fair.
You know?
It's worth tasting at some point just so you can experience it and go, no, I don't like that. But you
get
never
the
know,
flavour of cigarettes and you get drunk. I don't.
Yeah.
And I mean, for some maybe that might be that's a huge selling point. But
and I was going to say, and of course, people in Scotland are see you next Tuesdays. So my friend literally handed me a pint of it. And it was like it was a mate's stag do. He's like, get that down you.
A pint of whiskey.
Yes.
That's I think I'd die.
Yeah, that's not good.
It wasn't good, and it honestly.
How quickly did you down it?
No, it took me like 3 hours. Right,
all right, that's a bit better.
And when I finished it, he just looked at me and he was like, "Another one." I was like, "No, fuck off."
Oh, God.
I was like, "I'm not drinking another one of them. No chance." So yeah, okay. What the fuck is Star Wars Shatterpoint?
Yes, we're only 10 minutes in. What the fuck is Star Wars Shatterpoint? Star Wars Shatterpoint is a miniatures game by AMG or Asmodee. I'm not entirely sure what the difference is between them or Fantasy Flight these days. Somebody bought somebody out, and that's who makes it at the moment. It's a skirmish game where you have like 7 to 9, but normally 8 models aside. And your models mostly last the length of the battle. It's all very heroic and moving from point to point. And it's really, really hard to kill. And it's great fun if you actually like getting engaged in your models. Yeah.
Important question. Do you reckon that the lightsaber effects in this picture and the OSL on the models is actually painted on OSL, or there's somebody got the Photoshop happy and made the lightsabers look like they're glowing?
Yeah, somebody's fucked around on I'm fairly sure. It's highly unlikely that that's actually part of the paint job itself. Then again, you never know. It's entirely possible.
I'm inclined to agree with you, because it seems that the effect works even when it's not on the natural lightsaber. But definitely, that Maul could have had an OSL effect painted on him.
He could have indeed. So yeah, that's what Shatterpoint is. It's a game that can play through in a couple of hours. If you're used to having armies that die in a heartbeat and you lose half your army by the end of turn 1 or something along those lines, this is absolutely not like that game. I like it because you can start to care about your figures or your characters, and they'll last most of the game through.
So it's more like playing Custodes than it is playing like Orcs.
Yeah, it's got objectives, it's got terrain. There's range fighters, there's Jedi melee fighters, there's all sorts of stuff in there. It crosses all the various time eras of Star Wars and has been expanding out through them. And it's generally quite good fun.
Just a quick question. Can you flip back to that image for a second?
Yeah, sure.
I didn't pick up on this last time. Is it hex based?
No.
Because I can see the hexes on the grid there.
That is purely coincidental. They're not quite X's. I think they're just like stone slabs or something on the map that we were happening to use. It's
So
not hex
normal
based.
inches and
It's made using rulers, but the rulers are proprietary to this system.
right.
So you have like plastic measurements and range ruler 1, range ruler 2, range ruler 3, and one is used for moving, one is used for like force or short range shooting, and one is used for long range gun shooting and stuff and all this kind of thing.
Okay.
So yeah, the rules for the game, if you want to get hold of them and read them, are available for free online. The actual core rules of how the game itself plays, and the FAQ and errata and so forth. All the rules for the models and the units themselves are inside the box with the models, either in the starter set or in the expansion packs that you buy that have got the models in. They come with the unit cards that are important and relevant and used for the models each way. So if we just flip back to there, you can see some cards in the top of the screen there.
Yep.
They're included with the models when you buy them.
Can you
rather
get
than
them
model
elsewhere as well? Or...
No, that's unless you go like taking photocopies and printing them or something.
So
like that.
don't lose your little card when you buy a new model.
Yeah. Don't think that pull the model out. Great, I don't need anything else. You will need the rest of the paperwork that's in the box with them. And we'll put a link in the chat in the video notes so that you can see where to download these if you can't read the incredibly tiny link written in the screenshot in the middle. Which, if you can,
So a couple of questions about this particular thing.
Yeah, go for it.
What is a showdown event rule? What is a showdown event?
It's like an organized play event. So if you've got a big convention and they're hosting a tournament, then it's not a tournament, it's a showdown event.
So is it like competitive play rules rather than... So is the standard game or narrative play and the competitive ones on add-on? Or is that...
I believe it's in general, it's built to be a more competitive event. A competitive game. It's balanced. It's got balancing mechanics through all 3 stages of the game that you've played through. The showdown event rules lay down guidelines as to what maps you should be using, what sort of terrain you should be using, what missions you should be using here and there, what list you can bring, how many different lists you can bring, whether they can be sidebars to your list or whether you bring different lists for different stages, because otherwise you're playing the same 8 models throughout the entire time, which could get a bit dull, but you could be wanting to do that if you want to.
How much you like those 8 models, I suppose.
Basically, yeah. Any other questions on this stuff?
No, my experience of like those little cards and stuff that they provide with the models, because I played Star Wars Imperial Assault, and obviously I've got Star Wars Legion as well. I actually really like that because they usually come with tokens that you need for the models, and I mean, it's not like... So if you think of like Games Workshop, where you would spend like $25 for a Primaris Marine, for example, like a captain or something, when I was doing like Legion, you'd spend less, probably like $15. Sometimes you'd get a character, sometimes you'd get 2 characters if the character had a psychic, and you'd get the cards and the tokens as well. So the miniature might not be as high quality as Games Workshop, but the
miniatures are high quality. But in general,
yeah, they're still high quality enough miniatures that you can enjoy them, and then getting the cards with them is like a bonus. So at least you're not having to... Once you've got the core rulebook, you're never really having to go out and buy any more rules.
Exactly right, yes. The exception to that is that there is now an extra mission pack that gives you more layouts and objectives to play on, and how the game develops over time, because it's never the same objectives. It always sort of like mixes and changes as the game progresses. But we'll get to that in a bit. I'm pretty sure I've covered that.
All right, here's the second question. What's the difference between a showdown event and a premier showdown event?
Don't know.
All right.
Sorry, I blagged my way through the first one. I don't know the answer to this one. I imagine it's like a big one.
It's like a really special.
Yeah,
one
that's
like
only ever run in America, because that's how it works, I imagine.
Because everything's bigger in America.
Yeah, probably. Almost everything.
Except penises. I've nothing to base that on. Maybe they
are. All right. You just lowered the tone tonight. Okay, we just lost 50 subscribers. You know that?
Yeah.
All the American people are like, "Fuck you, Tony."
I have nothing to base it on. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe average penis size varies like that. I don't know.
Yeah, who the bigger dicks, Americans or Brits? So yeah, the game rules, as I said, are available free. So the unit rules, as you can see them on here, they look pretty complicated, and at first glance, they are really quite complicated. But once you get used to what they are, and you've had a little test as to how they play and what you do with them, as how to actually make use of what the symbols all mean and so forth, you learn it very quickly. It becomes very intuitive. So on the left there, you've got Obi-Wan, General Obi-Wan himself in the Clone Wars has the era of Clone Warsy era, which is like the little Imperial symbol on the left next to where it says 8SP.
Yeah.
8SP is how many army points you get to build the rest of his half of the team by including him in your force. So weaker primary characters will have more points to spend on their teammates. Stronger primary characters will have less points to spend on their teammates.
So is 8 a lot or a little?
Yes, middling. Although to be fair, Obi-Wan's pretty hard.
Like,
So
Obi-Wan should be pretty
yeah.
easy.
The card in the middle that says General Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then it's got these 4 little orange symbols down the left, and a 10 and a 3 on the right of it. They're all the passive general abilities that he has, abilities that kick off at the start of a turn when he's activated, abilities that you can spend a force point to use, abilities that trigger when certain events happen, or permanently on abilities that buff the rest of the army that he's with, like knowledge and defense buffs all the clone troopers that he's with because he's their leader. And then the bottom 2 cards are what he does when he attacks. And every time a character attacks, you can choose to swap a form or not swap a form. And one can be more defensive buffs for you, one can be more offensive damage against your opponent, one can be more status debuff effects on your opponent. It can mix and match which sort of form you want to use based on the situation that you're going into and the characters that they do.
So how many forms has someone got? Has it got a lot?
2.
So they've only ever got 2? Because
they've only ever got one card, which is 2-sided. Yeah. That's because the Jedi lightsaber forms, there's like 9 lightsaber forms that the Jedi taught their students.
Oh, I see. So he just knows those 2 out of the 9.
He's really good at like Form 3 and Form 4, yeah. And the dice that you roll in this game are proprietary dice because that's the way this company likes to do their dice. You roll a dice for defense, which has got some symbols on it for dodging damage results, blank for you haven't dodged anything, or counters special damage results. And the damage dice themselves have symbols on that you roll for just doing a point of damage, doing a crit, which means it can't be negated by a block value rolled on a defense die, or a special tech WAS symbol that does something special based on the form that you've got up here and running. So if you look at the Form 3 one, if you're shooting with Obi-Wan, he can't shoot. He's got no gun. So his little triangle, grey triangle symbol is dash. But if he's defending, he rolls 5 defense dice. Obi-Wan rolls 5 attack dice in melee with that Form 3 one, and 6 defense dice in melee.
Okay.
So sense. You can see that his attack dice and his defense dice vary based on which form he's in.
Yeah. But it just looks like Form 4 is better than Form 3.
Yes, until you start seeing what the symbols do in the little black box in there. So every damage result that you roll is a point of damage on the opposing character if it doesn't get blocked. A crit can't be blocked. And then extra little tech results on the attack dice that you roll that aren't negated allow you to progress down the little tree of damage results on there. And then you can pick one little tree to go on. You can go up and round or straight down the middle or down or whatever, based on whatever the form you're using is. And however many of these little technical results you get, the further down the tree you can get, some of which will do extra damage results, some of which will push people over, some of which will do like a force push back off an objective or off the side of a raised plinth. Some of them will let you move or let you do a jump. Some of them will let you heal a couple of points here and there. So it has a lot of depth in where it allows you to go and what it allows you to do with the attacks and with the characters based on the kind of dice you're rolling, basically.
Mm-hmm.
That was a lot of talking. Is any of that massively unclear before I move on to whatever slide is next?
The only thing that might be unclear for me is like if you're moving down that track.
You always start at the orange one, or the one that's like highlighted orange.
And you move down it, so
you follow the little white lines.
I get that, but like, what happens when you get to the end of it?
Tough. You can't go any further. If you've rolled more technical symbols than you've got spaces on the track, then the excess are wasted.
And it's always like the track essentially gets stronger as you progress down it?
Not really, but each one that you progress down it doesn't replace the other one. They're all cumulative. So the further you go down a track, the more damage symbols or extra buff symbols or debuff symbols you accumulate for taking effect during that one attack.
Oh, right. Okay, I'm with you.
So if these little explosion symbols are an extra point of damage, then if you go down one of the tracks, instead of having 2 points of damage, you can wind up doing 6 points of damage.
Well, okay.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points of damage if you go straight down the middle bit of Form 4.
Okay.
Which I appreciate you won't know.
Well,
you can see he's got 10
universal?
health. So in the middle of the screen of that middle card, you can see he's got like 10 points of health and a little plus symbol.
Yep.
And below that is a little sort of like red heartbeat monitor. Every time he takes 10 points of damage, he's stunned. And then he can't claim an objective until he's next activated, at which point he shrugs off the stun. He loses all of his damage points, but he's taken like a solid hit. And he can only do that 3 times before he's actually dead. And whilst you're stunned, you can't take any more damage. You can't be like properly killed. You got to like go all the way through 3 times to be properly killed. And battle droids might have 8 points of health and can only be stunned once. So that's the difference between heroic characters and stormtroopers or battle droids.
So the symbols on the cards,
Yep.
and the orange little bits,
Yep.
are they universal symbols? So
Yes. They are universal symbols. They are detailed in the core rulebook.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
Right. The actual scale of the models. If you're used to 40k, they're bigger than 40k. And here's roughly on a sort of like sort of scale, kind of how much bigger an Obi-Wan is compared to a Space Marine, or a General Grievous is compared to a Space Marine.
Looks like it'd be pretty fun to paint if they're that big.
Yeah. They're a lot more thin and not as sturdy as your average Space Marine intercessor is, which is like horrendously chunky.
What are they made out of?
They're plastic. They're on a plastic sprue. So you've got to be really careful when you're clipping out them lightsabers or they will snap.
Well, that one that Grievous has got, two of them look a little bit bent.
Yeah, no, they are plastic. But they're very well detailed. They take paint nicely. They've got sculpted bases. Sorry?
Is it like HIPS plastic like we use for GW models, or is it more like the softer plastics they use for cheaper stuff?
It's not quite GW plastic. They're a touch more rigid, a touch more brittle than GW plastic, but not loads. AMG, Asmodee, Fantasy Flight, whatever they're called now, they've done a lot of this stuff over the years. They've done a load of plastics for loads of different games. They're not brand new to this. So the plastic isn't bad, but equally so, just take some care with it, essentially. Don't pack them in foam, because the foam will snap the lightsabers off.
I was going to say, so it's similar quality of like Star Wars Legion, I guess, right? Because they started putting Star Wars Legion on sprues near the end of when I was collecting it. I think they might all be in sprues now, but the first launch was not in sprues.
I'd compare their plastics to Drop Zone Commander and Drop Fleet Commander, but I have no idea if either of you have used or played any of their stuff. So
no, that's the TT Combat one, isn't
it? They got bought out by TT Combat. That's what they are now, which I've recently packed in because nobody else is playing it, unfortunately. Which is a shame because it's a really good game. But now they're doing New Epic instead, so that'll scratch that big battle itch. Anyway, the models are bigger than Space Marines. They're bigger scale. They're really detailed. They're absolutely beautiful. I'm very impressed with the quality of the models. Hopefully you'll get to see them in person at some point soon, because that'd be cool.
Yeah, I'd love to play, actually, because I'm a big fan of the Star Wars miniature games.
Okay. Well, the way an army is built is each player has 2 squads and each squad is made up of a primary unit, which is like the leader. So that could be Obi-Wan or Anakin or General Grievous or Vader or whatever. A secondary unit, which is basically their main flunky. So that could be Commander Rex of the Clone Troopers or Padawan Ahsoka Tano or First Stormtrooper Lieutenant Bob or something like that. And one support unit, and the unit for that would count as like normally 2 models, and a model could be a base of a clone trooper or a base of battle droids, and that base would have like 3 battle droid models on it, but it would count as model because battle droids are crap. Or a couple of Ewoks bases could be support units as well. I think R2 is a support unit at some point for a team in here. The number of models in a unit can vary, but generally speaking, I think like 80 to 90% of the units fit this model of 1, 1, and 2. And you'll have 2 squads, so generally speaking, you'll have 2 sets of 1, 1, and 2. So most armies will be 8 models, maybe plus or minus. And these are the squads that you get in the starter set for the game. The starter set is retail, it's like 160 Great British pounds. With discount, it tends to be around about 140, 130. And in there, you'll get what is essentially 4 full squads or 2 complete armies, so to speak. Do we call them armies? Do we call them forces? They're not really armies, and it's like 8 people.
You probably call them squads, right?
Teams?
Teams?
Squad's a technical term, because squad is a half of like a force. I don't know. We'll stick with army for the time being, because why the hell not? So you get Asajj Ventress, who's the creepy dark Jedi lady in the top left there, and her force of battle droids and a tactical battle droid. You get Maul after he's had his bottom half chopped off and he's got robot legs, fighting alongside a Mandalorian called Gar Saxon and 2 random Mandalorian warriors. Because there's a bit in the Clone Wars where Darth Maul fucks off to go and take over Mandalore along with his brother and become crime bosses and running Mandalore for some reason. It's all a bit weird, really. And then on the goody side, you get a squad which is Anakin and a clone commander and 2 clone troopers. And then the other squad is Ahsoka and Bo-Katan, the Mandalorian lady, and her 2 Mandalorian flunkies.
I love how you've got Anakin on the goody side.
Well, at that point, he's Anakin, isn't he? During the sort of Clone Wars, he's still a goody.
Okay.
Really. He's not exactly ethically challenged yet. He hasn't killed any younglings yet.
No, but is this post murdering all the Sand people, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I would guess. Yes. Okay.
So
goody if you don't
be between episodes 2 and 3.
Specifically hit any children yet?
Yeah, I mean, just sand people, children. They don't really count, right?
Yeah. He's said that he doesn't like sand, but he's not murdered his wife yet. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Spoiler alert. Yeah. There you go.
Spoiler alert! It came out in 2003.
It's a meme somewhere, isn't there, where it's like, Padme's impressionable. We can't send you Obi-Wan because, you're irresistible. Anakin, what's your best pickup line? I don't like sand. You'll do.
Yeah, that's fine. So this is when shout out to my friend Miles, who brought this over to my local gaming club to show the game off to me and give it a go. The mat underneath is a Cloud City Orbital 1 because that was the right size mat that we had handy. So it's kind of Star Warsy, but obviously it's played on the ground rather than in space.
What's this terrain? Did this terrain come in the core box?
Yeah, that's the box terrain. So, no, that is the terrain that comes in the game, plus I think 1 expansion's worth of extra terrain as well.
Okay.
So that's all the terrain you get in the starter set, plus a little bit more. And the terrain you get in the starter set is enough, but you do want probably at least 1 more expansion's worth of extra terrain just to sort of bulk it out and give it a little bit more.
I see.
Interest.
I mean, it looks impressive.
Battlefield.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's done a great job painting it and building it and putting it together. There's so much love and work went into it. It looks awesome. It's such great fun to play with.
It looks like, has he painted that, or is that like come kind of pre
No, he's painted all the terrain.
I think it looks airbrushed, right?
Dry brush.
It might well be. Either him or his boyfriend painted it. I can't remember who took care of it in there somewhere, but it's got painted somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
Whether it's airbrushed or dry brushed.
I think it's a bit both.
Yeah. But the sandy look for it is fairly sort of cool Tatooine-y sort of look. So yeah,
I like it. Yeah, it's really, really well done.
You can see the 6 cards I've got along the bottom there for the primary characters being Anakin and Obi-Wan, the secondary characters being Ahsoka and a clone commander, and the flunkies being 2 lots of clones. So I've got a bunch of shooting and a bunch of melee force stuff in there.
Oh, right. So you've got 2 squads here then?
Every army has 2 squads.
Ah, right. And is there any, like, there's going to be cohesion between the squads, or is any, like, So
the restriction in building your army is they all have to be from the same era symbol as each other, or each unit card has to at least possess the same era symbol on as each other. So you can mix light side and dark side stuff and Empire and clone stuff in with the squads as much as you want to, but the cards do have synergies that will affect and help other certain types. So, for example, General Obi-Wan buffs clones.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of synergy to be had in this build as it is. And it's kind of up to you to know what those synergies are and build a list appropriately, really.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So just checking again the army sort of like this construction thing. So your hero, you've got 2 squads there. Each squad has got a hero, a minion, and some tiny minions.
It's like a hero, a lieutenant, and some flunkies.
Yeah. So we've got like Anakin's the hero, Ahsoka's the lieutenant, and then
second in
the
charge.
clone troopers the flunkies.
Yes.
And then the other group, you've got Obi-Wan, Cody, and some more clone trooper flunkies.
Exactly right, yes.
Right.
But they're not distinguished. They're not separate parts of the army. Rules that are on one that buff a keyword can affect across the entire lot quite happily.
Can you mix and match between like baddies and goodies in that? Can you have like, I don't know,
Yes.
battle droid flunkies?
Yes, absolutely. But if you bring Obi-Wan, then you're paying essentially you're basically paying points for his ability to bluff clone troopers. And if you're not bringing in clone troopers, then you're kind of wasting a lot of the things that he can bring to the table.
Yeah.
So you're not restricted. You can't. What about mixing and matching? Can I bring like I don't know, Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader in the same team?
They're both primaries, so
yeah, but you can have
if
one
they're
team
the 2
with Darth
primaries that
Vader
you choose, then as long as they share the same era symbol, I believe that's legal.
Cool.
Okay, so it'd be like
you can't bring like Luke and Luke. You
Sorry?
couldn't bring Anakin and Vader. That is, however, restricted. You can't bring 2 instances of the same named character.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought Vader killed Anakin.
Yes, he did. Absolutely. Spoilers. Going through that hell stuff a little bit earlier, it is really quite hard to actually kill a model, take a model off the board during like the 2 hours of playing a game. We took off like 2 battle droid miniatures, and whilst other characters have been wounded, they weren't ever in a position where they were in danger of being killed or knocked out or taken off the board or whatever. Wounding them is great because if they're sitting on an objective or claiming it, they can no longer count as claiming it. So you absolutely incentivized to do that. But if it takes wounding them 2, 3, 4 times to do it, it's kind of hard to focus that amount of firepower into someone. Unless they're like shit battle droids, basically.
So Obi-Wan and Grievous are on the same objective, and I wound Grievous. Is he just going to stand there while he regenerates and then he can fight me, or how does that work?
He'll stand there, unable to take any more damage, and unable to count towards claiming that objective. But the next time you activate Grievous, that is when he will sort of like be able to claim an objective again and take an action. All right, so alternating activations. You've got 6 cards of units. You've got like 6 units along the bottom there. And I activate 1, the opponent activate 1, I activate 1, the opponent activates 1, I activate 1, the opponent activates 1. But the ones that you activate are random each turn, so you can never quite control who's activating. If you draw one you don't like, you can spend a force point to bank it and then draw another one. And And a later turn, you can play the one that you banked instead of making a draw. So you kind of get a teeny bit of tactical control in doing so.
Can you store for much later, or there's a limit how many you can bank?
Once you've been through an entire cycle, that is when you have to use the bank. If you haven't used it already by then.
Mm-hmm.
So a cycle is all 6, plus there is also a special Shatterpoint activation in the cycle of cards that you randomize when you draw them, that allows you to pick one of your 6 units to activate, which will be for a second time, and so you can they have their Shatterpoint hero moment, so to speak.
Ah, cool.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's kind of late in the game, that game state, and it's been pretty awesome at that point of the game. This is how you build a game structurally. On the left there, that is the play area, which is a 3x3 board. It has 9 objectives. I believe the latest mission pack that they've just released varies the number of objectives or varies the layout in which they're placed, which is they're a 3x3 grid. The 4 and 5 numbers there, they're the numbers that are on the various range rulers, so you can work out how much distance to place between the objectives and the board edges. And each game will be done in either 2 or 3 sort of parts or phases, so to speak. And the idea is that each side will win phases until somebody's won 2 phases. So it'll either go win, loss, win, or win, win, and then you won't play the third bit. And the objectives that are active in the first stage is that little cross symbol. So 5 objectives are active out of those 9 in the first stage of the game. And then when you go into the second stage of the game, you get a choice between which of those 2 layouts become active. And the person who didn't win the first stage gets the choice of which set of objectives becomes active in a sort of pseudo balancing mechanic.
Clever.
And then if it goes to a third stage, because you're tied, you've both won a stage. The third one, you've got another layout again, which the loser of the previous round will get to choose.
Cool. That's cool. I like how we've got some of that in 40k now, where like objectives and stuff, your opponent has some influence over them sometimes. Makes it less one-dimensional, I guess, right? Because
makes it more dynamic a game.
Yeah, cool.
All things going
okay.
You win or lose solely based on victory points from claiming and holding objectives. You don't win or lose based on whether any of your models are alive or not. They just help you hold more points or not hold more points as the game goes. This is the momentum bar. It's a bit of a weird concept, but it works. Each time you wound an enemy, each time you stun them, you get a point of momentum towards you. And this bar dictates when a phase, when a stage of the game ends and you move on to the next one. And when the phase ends, that's when you reckon up who's got the most victory points from holding objectives, and they're determined to have won that phase before you move on to the next one. And the phase ends when the little white cube that is currently on a number 1 on the right there gets to one of the black cubes on either the far left or the far right. And each player will have either the left-hand side or the right-hand side. And then the black cubes, as the game progresses, will move closer and closer towards the middle based on how badly or how well you're doing. And each time you hold an objective, for each objective that you hold, I think during the end of a turn or an activation, the little white marker moves a point or 2 in your direction. Each time you wound an enemy model, I think the black one either moves inwards or something on those lines. So as each phase progresses, the momentum gets closer and closer, and you can like struggle backwards and forwards and shift who's going to win this particular phase.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds pretty cool.
It is. I enjoyed it. It's great.
So momentum has nothing to do with victory points, though.
The victory points that you get for holding objectives make the momentum bar move.
Okay, they move it as well. Okay, so wounding and victory points move.
And if it goes all the way towards your side, you've won that phase. So that's how holding objectives translates into victory points, so to speak.
I see. And so winning the phase is essentially like a 1-0. Like at that point, the victory points sort of reset, and I'm 1-0 up, sort of.
Yeah, and the momentum bar resets right back to its naked state that it's in right now, with the white cube in the middle, and the black ones move all the way back to the outside again, and the momentum struggle starts all over again.
Okay, cool.
And that kind of just says...
Answers that question, yeah. 2 win, 2 out of 3. Okay. So first to 2 wins a game, is it? Yeah?
Yeah, exactly. Whether it's win-win or win-loss-win, that's how the structure of the game will go.
Nice.
This is what you get in the starter box. You may not be able to read what's on there. You may not be able to read the full thing on the far right-hand side there, but you get a lot of stuff for your money. You absolutely get enough to play a full game, and then just buy more if you want to start having more figures to play with or more terrain to battle over, essentially.
So since we filmed this last time and we failed at uploading it, I have since put this into my Amazon basket based on your recommendation, Mark. And I was watching it during Black Friday, and like you said, it didn't really drop. So it's like 130 UK on Amazon. You might be able to get cheaper on like a reseller.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think, because I obviously bought both starter sets for Star Wars Legion, which was the same company, and that was the clones versus the battle droids and the rebels versus the Imperials. Yep. And I felt like both starter sets, when you actually opened the box, it felt like like the Leviathan box for GW. It felt like, oh my god, there's so much plastic in this box.
Oh yeah. Like it's a full, thick, heavy box.
Yeah, it's the same as why I have like all the Imperial Assault games, because every single one felt like really good value. So you're right. If you ever find this on a 20% off, 30% off sale, you should be like, you're gonna, you've got a lot of entertainment there in front of you.
The cheapest I've ever seen it was down to about 105 or 106 British pounds somewhere. So if I see it at that sort of price again, that'll be my I'm buying it kind of level.
Nice.
And this is the contents of the box in sort of like game visual terms for you. That is the amount of terrain that you do get in the starter set.
It's a good amount. It's a good amount.
Yeah. So if you were to buy these, if they packaged these separately and sold them separately based on how they've packaged and sold and priced terrain and squads and stuff separately, apart from in this starter set, that'd be... Each set of 4 models, each squad would be about 40 or 50 quid. The terrain would be about 50 or 60 quid.
Yeah.
And the templates would be another 15 odd quid on top of that. The dice would be another 10 or 15 quid on top of that.
Can you get this without buying the starter set? Can you buy the rulebook and a couple of packs of models you want? Or
the rulebook you can download for free. The range templates you can buy separately. The dice you can buy separately. The terrain you can buy separately. Those specific squads and models you can't buy separately, but you can buy other squads.
But let's say I didn't want those. I wanted different era. I want to play Rebels and Imperials era.
Yeah. The only thing I think you would be missing that you can't buy separately without going to eBay or something are the little black and white square momentum tokens and the momentum tracker itself.
Mm-hmm.
You could download the core rules, and the rules for the models come in the box with the models.
Why are there so many of the little black tokens? I thought you only had 2 on the momentum tracker and a white one in the middle.
I'm probably wrong, and instead of moving the black one, you probably just fill up the bar with black ones instead of moving the black one closer and closer.
Okay, makes sense.
I mean, it ultimately comes to the same thing.
I was going to say, maybe you can double them as like wound counters or something, I suppose.
Yeah.
There's a whole load of tokens not pictured in here for like wound tokens and
is there?
So
okay.
Forth.
Okay.
Which you know what? Also you wouldn't buy separately as well.
I don't have time to buy this game, but I really want
to. If and when we do this legendary visit that we will one day come up and visit you, I'll have it at that point. We'll bring it and we'll make sure you get to play it because it is really good fun. You'll absolutely.
I want to paint it. I'm not quite so excited about playing it because I haven't got a lot of time for playing games anyway. But I'd love to. The models look really, really nice.
The models are great, and we'll show off some more of the models to come in other team sets in the rest of this slideshow because I'm sure that I'll put more stuff in here.
Yeah, I remember you did.
What the other sets were, so we can go through that. But if they, as I say, so that'd be like 200 quid's worth of squads, give or take. another 40 or 50 quid of terrain. The starter set's really good value based on what they've priced the individual expansions at separately. So are there expansions that are available for the game? You got the core box, you got some more terrain, you got Dooku and some droids and Jango Fett who gets his head chopped off. You got a couple of Jedi who are called Luminara, Unduli, and Barisofi, and some more clones.
Those clones look slightly different.
The same one is in the core box.
Sorry,
it looks like it, doesn't it? The terrain looks like the terrain from the core box. Yes. Very similar, if not the same.
Not quite. That central high point in the high ground isn't in.
Isn't in
I didn't know
there,
if you could assemble it. I don't know how modular this terrain is.
It's quite modular. You can like the plankways and walkways that are on this, you like lift off and place on and build them in whatever configuration you want to do. And the ladders are all built and designed to not be glued and attached to it, so you can just pile it all together and put it in different configurations. Or add in extra bits like that, essentially. Grievous and some more battle droids. General Obi-Wan in his Hello There squad pack. Mother Talzin and Savage Opress of the Witches of Dathomir. Mace Windu and some more clones.
Is that a different... Sorry, is that a second Darth Maul?
Yeah.
No, that's Darth Maul's brother.
Yes, Savage Opress.
His name is Savage Opress, who comes from the planet Dathomir. And,
he was in the Clone Wars.
Yeah, after they thought Maul was dead, the Witches of Dathomir decided they want somebody else to replace Maul. So they like picked his brother after killing all of his mates off.
But he's not a Darth because he's not a Sith.
Correct.
He was trained a little bit by Sidious, was he not? Not Sidious.
Trained a little
Dooku.
bit by Tyrannus.
Dooku.
Yeah, by
Dooku.
Dooku.
Yeah.
But Dooku went, "You're too angry. You're too shit. Fuck off. I don't like you anymore. Go away." And Savage went, "I will find my brother and we will take over Mandalore or something and be scourges of the galaxy." And it didn't really go well for them.
No. I did like the episode where he was trained by Dooku, so that was a great episode of Clone Wars.
It was a good one. If you like dark side training montages that don't really go well for either party. Fistful of credits is Cad Bane the mercenary and a bunch of his sort of like mercenary flunky mate things. Then you got some Jedi hunters. You got Queen Padme and her loyal, trusted bodyguard.
I can't help but think that that's going to be a shit squad.
Yeah, that's the worst squad in this thing.
Yeah.
We
It's
are
like-
brave.
Yeah, Padme, brilliant. We like Padme. She was a great character. Not quite on the same level as like Vader and like trained soldiers.
So
Right.
on the one hand, I completely see where you're coming from, but on the other hand, a squad is kind of inherently balanced against another squad.
Yeah, I think he's talking from a lower point of view.
The same cost then.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't put them up against each other, just like in story terms.
It's like, you know, Padme versus Vader, or like Maul.
Yeah.
So Vader would cut down Padme in a heartbeat, you'd assume, but her handmaidens would outshoot stormtroopers because
Really?
duh.
Because you know those tiny guns and no armor
Yeah.
and lack of
Well,
military
that's right, because
training.
stormtroopers can't hit anything.
But stormtroopers have those helmets that make them miss everything, so it's
Yeah.
balanced.
That's how it works.
You know what I mean? It's like
No, I get you.
it doesn't look that balanced.
Sure.
And then you got some more random terrain bits in there just to like throw some scatter and characterful stuff on the board.
So
Yeah.
all the terrain packs the same price because that one doesn't look nearly as good as the other one.
No, they're not. I don't know what they are, but they're not the same. You can buy the dice separately if you want more dice. You can see all the weird little symbols that come on the dice. The D8s are the attacky ones and the D6 are the defendy ones.
Mhm.
You got the measuring tools in there. There's tools for movement, tools for pushing people back, tools for shooting and melee range. Because melee isn't base to base; it's within the range of the shortest one in the bottom right of that measuring tool thing. They've done a special Obi-Wan TV series, Obi-Wan versus Darth Vader duel pack with a little bit
That
of
looks wicked.
special scenery and stuff, for a set piece.
It does look pretty wicked.
And the Sabotage Showdown is extra mission cards with the layouts of the objectives
look
and
at
the maps and things that we saw.
I want to see if I can buy that still, or if it was like a limited edition or something.
The
You
cannot
cannot-
run pack.
Yeah.
I'm fairly sure you can.
I was going to say that would make a cool YouTube video, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
Dual pack.
Coming soon.
You can. It's not cheap, but it's not outrageously expensive either.
Yeah.
You can get it for like 56 quid.
It's only got 2 models that you can use to play
I don't care
the
about
game
that.
with, but
A
the big
beautiful
set
terrain as
piece
well.
terrain as well to go with
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
I kind of want to buy that.
Yeah, it's very cool.
And
You did a good job.
Vader's not just standing there. He's got Vader with his lightsaber held out down, and he's in the middle of throwing a piece of massive machinery forwards. That's what you might be able to see there in his left hand. Or you might not.
Yeah.
I don't know. It might be
Oh,
far too
that's
small.
very, very attractive.
This is the last fight
everyone
between
buy me
Obi-Wan
Twitter
and
friends.
Vader before they meet in Episode 4 on the Death Star.
Spoilers!
What?
Spoilers!
Oh,
This actually is not the last fight. They had another fight.
when?
This is the fight earlier in the TV show, not the last episode's fight.
Spoilers?
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Well, it's been a while since I watched
I thought they fought on 2 planets in the TV show.
Then there's a bit where they were trying to fly a noise spaceship, and that was pretty cool as well.
I like the look of this one as well, just because I want R2 with his drinks cabinet thing.
Oh, absolutely. It looks really, really good. This one has just come up for pre-order as well, to be released at the end of January. And
really?
Obviously, Jedi Knight Luke is going to be a badass. And yeah, it looks awesome. Return of the Jedi is so cool.
He wasn't a Jedi Knight at this point, right?
He was, but I don't feel like he can claim it. You know, he's got even less legitimate claim to being like a Jedi Master than
he was
Anakin
told that he
did.
has to defeat Vader before he actually becomes a Jedi Knight at that point. So, yeah, maybe you're right.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty unfair because, like all those other Jedi in the prequel era, they didn't have a big boss to fight.
No.
They just got, you're Jedi Knight now, cool, okay. And Luke, you've got...
How does he claim that he's like a Jedi Master? Not being funny, mate. No, we do not grant you the rank of Master, because you know you upset your dad for a bit, and then you fluff around on your own in the galaxy. You know, it's not. There's no training regime. You're not qualified for this.
Do you know what? I like everything about these models, but I'm not sure I like Han's pose.
Yeah,
it just seems a little bit like meh.
I think it was quite provocative.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm seeing.
Yeah. You think he wants his other hand down, stroking his thigh, and his left hand holding the blaster. Oh yeah, hello, princess. Yeah.
I actually love it.
Do you? Okay.
I really do. I genuinely do.
Speaking of the princess, here's another team that they're doing. So if you think that Padme and her bodyguards are a bit shit, then
Princess Leia and
a bunch of Ewoks. Yeah, and just to round out the Ewok army, then you can put these ones with them as well.
To be fair, the Ewoks, I mean, they did kick those stormtroopers' asses, didn't they?
Yeah. And you can see that whereas most squads are 4 models, as in bases, these ones are 5 each, so they got a numerical advantage.
I was going to say they're like Ripper swarms.
Again, I'm not sure what R2, and in this case, R2 has 3PO on the same base as him.
Yep.
I'm not going this way.
Yeah.
I mean, R2 does have a little laser thing.
These are characters from, I think, Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
From the story of the TIE fighters pilots that did commando stuff and I think eventually joined the rebellion.
This is another 5.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, yeah.
Probably
I
because
guess
they're just like crap Imperial pilots. They're not exactly a big deal compared to Vader or Obi-Wan or Grievous or something.
Mm-hmm.
This is another Jedi Plo Koon plus Padawan Ahsoka and some more clones. I don't know why there's 5 in there, but there's 5 in there. So, okay, cool, fine. This is another mercenary, weird, annoying guy from the Star Wars Rebels series who was mates or not and screwed over all the heroes in that.
He's just a smuggler, isn't he?
Rebel series. Yeah, he's just out for number 1.
Hondo the Smuggler.
That's the one. Hondo Anaka. That's the guy and his flunkies.
Is that the little funny bat monkey thing that Jabba has later on?
Pretty much, yes. It goes, eee!
It's either his mate or the same one. Yeah, it's the
same
same species, absolutely, as Salacious Crumb. Here you've got the bad guy from the Mandalorian TV series.
I love this one
and
actually.
the robot
Just
Dark Troopers and
for the Dark Troopers, yeah.
I love that
Yeah.
they've got the Dark Troopers, and considering they were invented in the old, introduced in the old Dark Forces Doom clone video game, and the fact they're still kicking around now is fantastic.
Moff Gideon, that's the character's name. He was pretty badass with the dark saber, which means, of course, they'll be doing other things in that era as well, like Mando and Grogu and IG-88 before he gets blown to crap, and their mate played by Carl Weathers, whose character's name I can't remember.
Grief Karga.
That's the one.
It's almost like I've watched that TV show, huh?
Yeah. And then there's a Darth Vader expansion and some Stormtroopers, which has also gone on pre-order alongside the Luke one earlier for release in late January, which I have decided I'm going to buy because the name of this particular box, this is like the Obi-Wan box is called Hello There. This one is called Fear and Dead Men. And the reason why it's called Fear and Dead Men is because the Rebels sent an army to try and take out Vader. He wasn't impressed. All he is surrounded by is fear and dead men. And
very much I was going to say, Vader. Very much the corridor scene from Rogue One again, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I think this cartoon...
Can blasters actually hurt Vader's armor? That's a good question, right? Because the only time we ever see someone shoot him with a blaster is on Cloud City when Han bursts in the door and he just holds his hand up and either through the Force or with his armor, he just blocks all the bolts
I'd imagine
in his
they
hand,
probably
right?
can. It's not much of an armor suit compared to a life support suit, so it's probably a bit armored, but...
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought it was much heavier than that Stormtrooper armor. It's just the fact that he's such a badass, he doesn't give a shit about lasers.
He doesn't... Yeah, okay. Lasers are beneath him.
And this was the last teaser that they did for what is coming in the future for Star Wars Shatterpoint, when they did an event in the middle of this year, a few months ago. So, yeah.
That's cool that they're going to add Thrawn. Can I ask, you've both seen Ahsoka now, have you?
I have.
You've not seen it?
I haven't seen it yet.
So
I'm working on my way through. I'm working through Disney Plus. I'm not going to finish it by Christmas.
Okay. Because they got the voice actor from Rebels who played Thrawn in Rebels to do the live action.
Lars Mikkelsen, yeah.
Which is awesome, I think, because I like the continuity of that. Mm-hmm. But Thrawn was always portrayed as this like super lean, super strong, super fast, super agile.
You're commenting on Dad Bod Thrawn as he was.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and then in the TV show, he's like dad bodded.
Is he Lars Mikkelsen or whatever his brother?
Yeah,
Lars Mikkelsen is Mads Mikkelsen's brother. Yes.
But so
because Mads is a handsome man.
I mean, yeah.
I feel like. Am I wrong? Did you think that? I know it's totally off topic, but did you think that Thrawn should have gone to the gym before they filmed the show, or no?
His physicality wasn't exactly what I'd envisioned, but
okay.
To forgo it just to have Thrawn in live action and back in canon again, frankly.
Okay. We just probably aren't going to see him fight like he fights in the TV show, because in the TV show,
in the cartoon,
yeah, in the cartoon, I think he thought a Jedi, and he was like toe to toe with a Jedi. Whereas, like,
you say Jedi, it's like fucking Ezra, who's like a 15-year-old annoying
Padawan. Okay, he fought a Padawan. Okay, I'll give you that.
But yeah.
Because in the books, he wasn't really portrayed as a fighter; he was a general.
But he also rose his way through the ranks. So aside from being the Grand Admiral or a general or an admiral or leader or whatever, he was also a soldier and a warrior.
Yeah, and the fact that he did that as a non-human race in the Empire, which was famously xenophobic, was part of it. He was the only non-human
racist. Yeah,
it was a fantastic story. I know they've rewritten it for new Disney Star Wars, and I've only read the old pre-Disney Thrawn series. But the storyline, I think, is pretty much the same, isn't it? The characters pretty
largely. The only Thrawn stuff that has become redundant or like decanonized was the original Heir to the Empire trilogy. The prequel Thrawn novels that Timothy Zahn went back and wrote are all still canon. It's a little bit dubious as to whether or not Outbound Flight is still canon or not, but nothing that's been done or said anywhere has contradicted it, so it's a bit
But he's an incredible character.
Oh yeah.
Well, he'll get. I was going to say, do you think because Thrawn has a bodyguard? I forget the bodyguard's name. He died in Rebels, right?
Rook of the Nogri.
Yeah, so
the
he'll
Nogri was all a big part of Leia's arc for how they defeated Thrawn in the end, in the Heir to the Empire.
So he'll probably be his sidekick in this game, I would imagine.
I don't know. Have you finished watching Ahsoka?
Yes.
I'm guessing that the Witches of Dathomir are gonna like fill that role a little bit instead.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess they are.
Because it would make sense given what happens. So yeah, that's Star Wars Shatterpoint. There we go. I'm still really looking forward to buying this game. Thanks very much once again, Miles, for the game that you demoed to me. I'll get another game at some point and buy it and get to play it and paint all the cool stuff because I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great game.
Yeah, so I guess if you just wanted to get started and you had a friend that had the core set, you would just need to buy 2 squads, ideally from the same era.
The core set has everything to play the game for 2 people in it. You don't need more than the core set at all.
No, but I mean, like, if you just wanted to collect your own army, you just need 2 squads, 2 boxes. That's it.
Yeah, which would be
like 10 models,
like 70 to 90 quid UK-ish.
Yeah,
for that 7 to 10 models, depending on the squad sizes that you buy. Yeah.
I was going to say, if you pick them up off Element Games, do you get a discount?
Yes, Element do a small discount on them. It varies, but it'll be 10 to 15% if I recall off the top of my head, using our lovely affiliate link down in the video description somewhere, which will support this channel if you do so. So that'll be very much appreciated. Thank you very much.
There we go.
And yeah, that's Star Wars Shatterpoint. And now we go on to a slightly dated Pile of Glory section.
I don't even know what's in this because this is the Pile of Glory from
5 or 6 weeks ago. Yeah, from when we did it the first time.
So what did we do 6 weeks ago, Mark?
A window into back in time as to what the fuck we were doing just over a month and a half ago. What was John doing?
I put very little paint on any of these in the last month, but no, I did. I did make my
same as me, mate.
Biologist has 3 colors on him, so he was tournament ready, and I played him at a tournament, and cool. He was insanely good.
Was that the tournament where you would have won, except if you rolled a 1 on a d6?
Yes, I needed to roll a 2 up to beat Gav and finish 3rd at a GT, and I rolled 1. It was very. Do you know what? The one good thing about it
very
was
emotive, perhaps.
I think I had Gav worried. Like, I really think he was worried.
I mean, I'd be fucking worried if you like on a 2 up, I win the game, mate. That'd be pretty scary.
Game, it was like a 9-point victory swing because I would have had and my Eradicators would have had line of sight on a knight as well, so it would have been 9 points and potentially another dead knight. So it's fine. It's fine. I think
there's nothing to be ashamed of in any way, shape, or form for your part.
Yeah, no, so I'm still painting Death Company, I'm still painting Ballistus Dreadnoughts, I still have to finish that guy, but I have made my 5 jump intercessors that are in that photo. Yeah, do you know what, it's really confused me today, actually. On the box, they call them jump pack intercessors, but in the codex, they call them assault intercessors with jump packs.
Yep.
That's confused the hell out of me, because I was filming a video earlier today, and I called them jump pack intercessors, and then looked in the codex, and they're like, why do I think they're called this? But okay, so that's
what the box says, yeah.
Because that's what the box is. Okay, so I have made all 5 of those and have painted some.
Have you made the captain?
What's the thing in the background? Is that the codex?
Yeah, I guess that's the codex behind them. Yes. Have I made the captain? No, I was going to do a video on him when I actually make him. I'm going to kit bash him. I just haven't got around to it yet.
Cool.
Oh, and look, Arsenal are there and they're top of the league. Did you know that?
Who? Who are they?
Arsenal.
What? Who? What?
Are top of the
league.
What are they? They weren't top of the league when I filmed this video.
They're a sports ball team, are they? Okay.
Yeah, they're a sports ball team, yes.
Excellent. Wow. Right. I had bought 2 more Lieutenant with combi weapon because I figured they were dirt cheap at the time because they're like 7 or 8 quid and they're lone operative and they get to move whenever you move near them. So they're really annoying units, and I figured I'd have 3 of them for my army. So cool. And I started to put some more paint on my Games Day captain that had been sat gathering dust for a while. Surprise, I haven't done anything with him since this picture was taken 5 or 6 weeks ago. So great, maybe I'll get to do some of that over Christmas, or maybe I won't because I'll be doing other stuff or finding excuses not to do other stuff. Who knows? Tony. Tony, you just had a baby and wasn't getting a lot of hobby done. And,
no, I'm still not getting a lot of hobby done. I've really not got I think the episode before this, I said I've managed to like red my Leviathan Space Marine, and I've started to just put a couple of other colours on my Leviathan Space Marines now.
Oh yeah.
But we're really not all that far along when it comes to Leviathan Space Marines.
Yeah.
But,
I was going to say your biologist looks further along than my one, so you've done something.
Well, I've done the armor.
Level of a shit show.
I've done the white armor. I've shaded all that down nicely, which I'm quite pleased by. Because I don't like using shade paints. I've blacked out some bits and I've started to do some metallics on him, and that's about as far as he's got.
I just coated him in apothecary white contrast, and like, okay, I'll pixel out some details, and that'll be my.
So I did mine. I started from a black undercoat, and then I used Tamiya Darksea Grey, and then I built that up through to white to get some nice sort of gradient stuff going on and get a little bit of contrast in there. And I'm quite pleased with the way the white armor's come out on that so far, but I haven't got I just haven't had a lot of time to do them. So I've got piles of stuff here that's waiting to be painted and built in, drop pods and
Are you still buying more models? Is the pile of shame growing and growing and growing?
The pile of shame is growing and growing and growing. On Saturday we've got the tiny Space Marines arriving.
Legions Imperialis, or New Epic, as I refuse.
Legiones.
Yeah.
Space Marines.
Got to call it.
So that's coming on then, which needs doing. I've got the pile of shame is getting a little bit ridiculous. It's like I bought this, which there's not a lot to see there, but that is the Middle Earth Lord of the Rings diorama they did to get off the road.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, cool.
Have you seen the new transparent plastic ghosts that they showed off recently?
Sorry?
They showed off a set of new Lord of the Rings ghosts done in transparent plastic.
In passing seen them, but I'm not sure. Are they the old sculpt in a new resin, or are they new sculpts?
Don't know.
Because the old sculpt was fine cast resin, and they were cool, really, really cool. But I don't know if that's the old fine cast resin just cast in clear resin. Because this is absolutely stunning. I'm really looking forward to doing it. I don't know where it was sharp, but like this is the resin for the tree.
Oh yeah,
it's so detailed.
The Forge World resin was always really good.
Forge World resin,
to be fair to it, it's expensive.
They occasionally have a few problems. I'm not going to deny that for a second, but they've always been very good whenever I've had a problem about replacing it. And the detail on it is superb. I think that's the thing with Finecast. I was with the when it came out and everyone was hoping for Forge World level quality, and what we got was shite.
Yeah, I've always had this plan to do a Lord of the Rings diorama myself based on Gandalf and the Balrog, but never quite got around.
Yeah, that's a beautiful.
It's an obvious one to do,
Smaug as well, but I'm not a huge Lord of the Rings fan. It's just I like the movies and the models are really, really cool. I've just got no interest in playing the game.
Did they ever do a weather top one? That would have been cool.
Yeah, they did. You can buy. They did like a resin weather top.
Mm-hmm. I'm told the game is really, really good to play, but I've also had no interest in playing in it. But just for the sake of the models and the story, you're just like having them would be cool.
It's hard though, man. There's so many games these days.
Oh, absolutely. I've now got all three of the Resident Evil board games, and I've only played one of them. I've got Wolfenstein the board game, which is beautiful miniatures here. I've got I'm getting into BattleTech at the moment as well, which is interesting. So there will be an episode coming out on BattleTech when I write it. So I understand. I completely agree with the whole. There's lots of games that we all want to play.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully, me stopping presenting hasn't messed up the layout of the screen or anything like that. If it has,
I think it's
tough, because I've done it anyway.
It's fine. Look, I bought this. It's still in its cellophane.
Nice.
That's the expansion pack, isn't it?
Yeah, Get Away From Her, You Bitch, which is like the loader and the big queen alien.
I'm not sure.
If we're on about all this sort of shame stuff, I kickstarted the Witcher board game and like 6 boxes worth of expansions for 150, 200 quid. They've all turned up. They're gorgeous models, and I haven't played them. I'm tempted to take them to my WoW guild meet in the new year and try and see if I can convince somebody to play them. Yeah, that's what he showed off. Yeah.
Yeah. I've got both of the expansions. I think there's only the 2 expansions for the Alien board game.
Oh, you got that one, have you?
Yeah, there was Get Away From Her, You Bitch, and then there's
the Colonial Marine one.
Stay in the Core.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, it's never ending.
Yeah.
No, sorry, it's on bollocks. Glorious Day in the Cause, the core box, isn't it? Don't know. Maybe there was only one. Maybe I've only got one. Who knows?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
All the games that I don't get time to play. It's
Yeah.
great.
Oh, well,
And Tony's gone out of focus.
I've gone out of focus because, even the camera's ashamed to look at me.
Thank you so much
exactly
for showing us Star Wars Shatterpoint.
Yep.
I'll give you.
Sure, I will come back from Dragon Meat on Saturday with having dropped too much money on it or something. Because
I was going to say, I mean, I remember when I did the video on Star Wars Imperial Assault, and I think my Imperial Assault video was probably a 9 out of 10. So I think you maybe got that was maybe like a 6. So good job.
Awesome, thank you. Wonderful.
Right, if people are watching this and going, "Why is John just slagging off Mark's effort?" John's referring to the ranking on our YouTube videos. So 10 out of 10 is the worst video of the last 10 ones.
Yeah, probably.
Right? And 1 out of 10 would be the best one.
Yeah,
because I'm aware that unless you spend active time poking around in YouTube's back end, you're
probably not going to know this.
It just sounded like John said, "My episode's a 9 out of 10." Yours
is just a 6, mate. Yeah.
You know? And he was trying to be complimentary. He just didn't go the best way about it.
Do you know what? If you ever have a day on YouTube when you post a video and it says like 2 out of 10, you're like, yes! It doesn't happen very often.
I'm largely not bothered, to be honest.
You're not bothered?
The videos will do what they do, and people will watch them, and they'll comment and say that we all talk over each other or something, and that'll be a good video. So
that's our best part of feedback from this year, isn't it?
My favourite comment is still 2 hours of fantastic nonsense.
That's got to be the title for the next video we make.
What, title your sex tape?
No. So people don't know what they're getting.
Fantastic nonsense.
We just No, the video is just like 2 hours of fantastic nonsense, and then people will be like, "What is this fantastic nonsense?" So click on the video.
We can but hope.
Thank
you very much for watching.
If you've been watching, intro that we're going to do.
You've got to the end of our however long this has been of complete crap that we've been talking about Star Wars.
Yeah.
Thank you for your support. If you're watching us, great, awesome. You can support us in various ways. You probably know by now, like subscribers and Patreons and
click like and subscribe, but only if you're absolutely sure.
Yeah.
Don't subscribe randomly. Dislike if you don't like us.
It's not that it doesn't mean anything. It's just that I don't like pimping it, but it's always worth pimping.
We're not very good at it, and John tells us off for not doing it very well. Join our Patreon if you want to tell us what to do, because we generally do.
Or have the opportunity to tell us what to do. You always tell us what to do with your Patreon, and if you tell us things to do that most of us don't seem to know anything about or want to do, like one of our Patreons asked us to do an episode on Babylon 5. We probably not going to do because I don't think John's ever seen it or something.
I've never seen Babylon 5.
Right, so maybe we will do it, but it might be a shorter one.
Yeah.
And the same goes with our YouTube members. You can join us as a YouTube member. It really helps us out. And again, you can tell us what to do. And if you can, we'll do it.
Whenever we have a live episode, we'll take questions from our Patreons to read out live. Guaranteed to read out. If you got a super chat, then they'll pop up in screen and we'll absolutely read them all.
Get the fancy icons.
What you're saying, all this sort of stuff. Yes.
I was going to say, and there's all the new codexes coming out for 40k, and they're all stupidly locked now behind a paywall inside the app. So, like for example, last night I asked Colin if I could borrow his phone to look up a Space Marine rule because I was playing Colin, and he handed me his phone, and I punched the unit in. And it's like, no, it's locked because Colin doesn't have the Codex Space Marine.
Conversation. Then John comes in. Whoosh! A rant in the other direction. There we go.
Yeah, but my rant is we need some new members and supporters so we can buy the damn codexes because apparently they're all
so that
locked.
John can win his tournaments that he loses on a 1 in 6 dice roll. Yeah.
But no, how silly is that, right? Like you're at an event and your phone runs out of battery and you ask your friend if you can borrow the phone to look up your rule. No,
we could
you
do
can't.
a whole another episode on GW predatory monetization practices.
Okay.
But frankly, everybody knows what they are. So
okay. So we'll just call it 2 hours of fantastical monetary practices.
Predatory monetization practices. And if that sounds...
I nearly made a comment that would get at least Mark fired. So let's move off of talking about companies with predatory monetary practices.
Yeah.
And
don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. Ooh. All right. Thanks for watching. Much appreciated as always. We're planning a live episode, probably the next one in a couple of weeks' time. So hopefully see you there. Cheers, everyone.
Before it goes.
What?
Whoever wrote that I looked like James Bond in the last episode, you were lying, but you made my day. Now we can go.
Who the hell? Somebody wrote... Was this in the comment section?
It was, yeah.
Oh, I'm going to go look that up.
They were commenting on my dapper waistcoat of the day. This is new me, where I don't get to get changed before we film. That's how tight mine is.
Where I'm wearing comfy, fluffy, fleecy Mandalorian thing my wife bought me for Christmas.
I took the tie off. That was the limit of me getting into comfort.
I see. And John looks like always looks like.
I'm
Except when he's fallen off a skateboard and he's got a splint in his arm.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching.
Toodles.